This video is sponsored by Card Trader, a global marketplace where you can buy and sell TCG cards like the Pokemon trading card game. Please use my code POPNIGHT24 at checkout where you can get 5% off your first purchase. A link will be in the description below. Thank you again to Card Trader for sponsoring this video. Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be showcasing Team Rocket's Orbeetle from the Destined Rivals expansion set. Team Rocket's Orbeetle is very unique because of its ability, Rocket Brain. As often as you like during your turn, you may move one damage counter from one of your Team Rocket's Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. Being able to move damage counters around is a very interesting concept because not only can this help you spread damage between your Pokemon, which could possibly avert your opponent from taking any key knockouts, but you can also utilize it to deal big damage. So to deal damage, basically what we're going to do is absorb as much damage as we possibly can, consolidate the damage to one Pokemon, and then give them all back to our opponent. And this is how we're going to make it work. Firstly, we have two Pokemon that can absorb the damage, and it's good to have these two options just in case we have any type disadvantage. The first one is none other than Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. For a basic Pokemon, this Mewtwo EX has one of the highest HP in the game with a whopping 280 HP. And then for our second Pokemon that can absorb damage is Team Rocket's Moltres EX with a base of 220 HP. And what we're going to do is add extra HP to our Pokemon, which is why I have Hero Escape as my A-Spec card of choice. This will give 100 more HP to the Pokemon this is attached to. And as a second option, we also have Bravery Charm, which will give 50 more HP to the basic Pokemon this is attached to. And so after you've taken enough damage, you can then use Orbeetle to transfer as much damage as you can to consolidate to one Pokemon. And then for our secret weapon, we'll be using Wobbuffet more for its attack, Rocket Mirror. For one Psychic and one Colorless Energy, you can move all damage counters from one of your bench Team Rocket's Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this attack will not only full heal one of your Team Rocket's Pokemon, it can also transfer a lot of damage to your opponent's Pokemon with the potential to even knock them out. And we can even utilize the special Team Rocket's energy to power up Wobbuffet or any of our Team Rocket's Pokemon's attacks. And speaking of attacks, it is worth noting that despite having lower HP than Mewtwo, Team Rocket's Moltres EX has two powerful attacks. The first one is Flame Screen. For one fire and two colorless energies, it deals 110 damage. And during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 50 less damage from attacks. With increased defense and with Bravery Charm equipped, your opponent will actually have to dish out 320 damage to get a one-hit knockout on this Pokemon. And its second attack is Evil Incineration. For one fire and three colorless energies, if you discard the Team Rocket's energy from this Pokemon, you can discard your opponent's active Pokemon and all attached cards. When it is to your advantage, this attack can be quite powerful if you can simply just remove your opponent's Pokemon from play. But of course, we can't forget that Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX can also attack. Its attack is Erasure Ball. For two Psychic and one colorless energy, this attack can deal 160 plus base damage. But you can also discard up to 2 energies from your bench Pokemon, and for each energy you discard, you can add 60 more damage. But just keep in mind that because of its ability, Power Saver, you will need at least 4 Team Rocket's Pokemon in play before you're able to attack. And finally, we also have Team Rocket's Spidops. Thanks to its charging up ability, once during your turn you may attach a basic energy from the discard pile to this Pokemon. Not only will this ability help energize its own attack, but we can utilize this to power up our other Pokemon's attacks when we use Energy Switch. And having this as an attacker is also really good too, especially when going against single price matchups and also those that have weakness to grass. Its attack, Rocket Rush, deals 30 damage for each of your Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. And finally, since we are only using Team Rocket's Pokemon in this build, we'll be utilizing all available Team Rocket's trainer cards for draw support and consistency. Honestly, this Orbeetle deck is super fun when you can make it work. However, it's just too combo heavy. There's just too many pieces and too many steps that you need to set up, making it really difficult to win with. Overall though, it's definitely worth a try. Do you guys have any other suggestions for fully utilizing this Team Rocket's Orbeetle? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Team Rocket's Orbeetle. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. On to game number 1. I'm gonna start this one with Team Rocket's Tarantula in the active spot. We also have Wobbuffet on our bench, and we were able to draw 2 extra cards because of my opponent's mulligans, and they are going first. So they're gonna start with Cynthia's Gibble in their active. We're going up against Cynthia's Garchomp EX. We do have type advantage if we attack with Spidops, but I don't think we have any Pokemon in this build that can one-hit knock out their Garchomp, especially if they have Cynthia's Power Weight attached to add plus 70 HP to their Pokemon. So now it's our turn. We did draw into Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, so that's good. We have Buddy Buddy Poffin. I'll just set up my Team Rocket's Blipbug and another Tarantula. And I'll just slowly set up my Mewtwo. I'll attach the Team Rocket's energy on it. And then I'll probably just use Giovanni. I can promote my Mewtwo EX. And I'll switch my opponent's Roselia into their active. So we do have an extra energy to attach to Mewtwo. We can attack next turn. And even if my opponent manages to evolve into their Garchomp EX, Mewtwo should be able to survive an attack since we are also resistant to fighting attacks. So my opponent manages to evolve into their Cynthia's Gabite, and they're just going to continue to evolve. They have access to Champion's Call ability, allowing them to search their deck for any Cynthia's Pokemon. And I did showcase this Garchomp EX build in my channel already, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But looking at my hand though, it's looking horrible. We don't have any support cards to help us draw into any more cards. And if it stays this way, we're probably just going to lose this game. But maybe if we manage to knock out one of their Pokemon, we can possibly get a supporter card from our prizes. I'm just hoping that we draw into a supporter card soon enough before we start losing. Okay, my opponent didn't get to attack. We drew into a Team Rocket Spidops though. We can evolve into Dottler. We can attach an energy, evolve into Spidops, and I'm just gonna attack here with Erasure Ball, dealing 160 to their Roselia, getting us our first prize. And we got Counter Catcher. Alright. That's very unfortunate. Now my opponent promotes their Garchomp EX. They can start attacking. But with no Rose Raid in play, our Mewtwo EX should be able to survive an attack. But at 400 HP, man, Garchomp EX is so hard to knock out. Again, there's no way for us to one-hit knock out their Garchomp. The max HP we can get is 380 if we attach Hero's Cape to our Mewtwo EX, and there's just no way we can transfer enough damage with Wobbuffet to one-hit knock out their Garchomp. So we're just gonna two-hit knock out their Garchomp EX if needed. And we're just gonna use everything in our arsenal to try and win this game. Alright, they're gonna use Draconic Buster to deal 230 damage to our Mewtwo EX. But now we're just gonna get knocked out next turn. And we don't have any other attacks that can get us through this turn without losing any prizes. I'll just have to retreat my Mewtwo EX. I'd rather my opponent take one prize than two prizes, so I'll lose all my energies and I'll just sacrifice my Tarantula and pass. Yeah, this is a very tough predicament that we're in. But yeah, if we attack for a lot of damage against their Garchomp, they can just reflect that damage back with their Cynthia's Spiritomb. It's a really strong one-prize attacker if they can accumulate enough damage to their Cynthia's Pokemon. Alright, they're gonna evolve into their fourth Cynthia's Garchomp EX. Wow, that's a lot of HP, guys. So they're gonna take a knockout against our Tarantula. We're gonna get one prize. I think I'm just gonna promote my Wobbuffet. Okay, we drew into Team Rocket's Ariana. That's good. I'm gonna use Night Stretcher to recover my Tarantula. Put it into play. Use Ariana to draw into more cards. We got Team Rocket's Moltres EX. Yeah, let's put that into play. Could prove to be useful. And we're just gonna charge up our Spidops for now. So thankfully, we were able to draw into that Ariana. So we have access to more of our supporter cards. We have another Ariana to help us draw next turn. And Maybe we can even start attacking with Moltres. We just need to draw into our HP buffs. We have Hero's Cape and also Bravery Charm. I just hope my opponent doesn't have any boss's orders to boss our Mewtwo EX. We can take advantage of that to transfer the damage to our opponent's Pokemon. So they're gonna take another knockout against our Wobbuffet. My opponent takes their second prize. Let's go ahead and promote our Moltres EX in the active. Ooh, we got Team Rocket's Energy. Even better. So I'm going to actually just target their Rose Raid. Use Ariana's to draw. Okay, we got Orbeetle available to us, but I'm just gonna leave it in my hand. I'm just gonna attack. Knock out their Rose Raid, get another prize. Got another Mewtwo EX, so that's good. But thanks to the Flame Screen attack, we deal 220 damage against their Rose Raid. But now, we will receive 50 less damage from our opponent's attacks, which is pretty strong. So they'll have to hit for 270 damage to knock out our Moltres. They're gonna use Iono. Okay, we got Bravery Charm and Hero's Cape, so we can definitely take advantage of that. And they're only hitting for 20 damage against our Moltres. Look at that. Ooh, we got a Transceiver. Let's go ahead and put Bravery Charm on Mewtwo. And then I can put Hero's Cape to our Moltres. And then I'm gonna use Transceiver. I'll have to get Ariana. Proton's not gonna help us as much here. I can attach the Grass Energy. And then I'm gonna use Ariana. Okay, we can draw more cards with Team Rocket's Factory. We got an Ultra Ball. And I think I'm gonna use Ultra Ball. Discard Moltres and Proton to get my Orbeetle. Evolve this. That way we don't have to worry about it anymore. Anyways, my opponent's priorities is gonna be my two prizers, most likely. And I think we have enough HP to survive an attack, right? So I'm gonna use Flame Screen once again. 110 damage against their Garchomp EX. So we have Team Rocket's Energy. We can even attack with Mewtwo EX to deal 280. You can just use Energy Switch, but they're gonna attack. So now Moltres has 200 damage. If only we had... Oh, I mean, we have Proton. We have Wobbuffet in the deck, right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Let's go ahead and use Team Rocket's Proton. I'm just gonna get all these cards. And then we can put Wobbuffet in play, draw more cards with the factory. And since we have Team Rocket's Energy, let me use Energy Switch. That way I don't have to discard the Team Rocket's Energy on this Moltres, because that's gonna be very helpful if we use the Evil Incineration attack. So I'll just switch my Wobbuffet into the active, attach Team Rocket's Energy on it, and then we're gonna use Rocket Brain, guys. Here it is. Yes! This is so hard to pull off, but we are gonna do it. So we're gonna leave 10 HP left to Mewtwo, so it's not knocked out. And I'm gonna use Charging Up once again. And I'm just gonna put damage counters from Moltres to our Wobbuffet, because most likely my opponent's just gonna knock it out. Might as well keep our Moltres EX within survival range with a lot of HP, and we're just gonna Rocket Mirror to transfer all the damage counters from our Mewtwo EX to their Garchomp EX, knocking it out. That's insane! I never thought I'll be able to pull that off, but we were able to do it, guys. You saw it here first. That's insane. Yeah, I've been playtesting this deck for so long now. So many games played, it's just so hard to pull off, but we are doing it. I am able to showcase what it's meant to do, guys. Alright, so they're gonna attack with Garchomp, dealing 70 damage to our Mewtwo. Thankfully, we do have our Team Rocket's Giovanni. And since this Garchomp is weak against grass, we're just gonna use Spidops to deal a one-hit knockout, getting us our last 2 prizes to win the game. Wow, that was an awesome game. Good game. Alright, let's move on to game number 2. I had to mulligan once, and I'll be starting this one with Tarountula in the active spot once again. And in this matchup, my opponent will be going first. They're going to start with Lily's Clefairy EX. That's a good tech to have in a deck, especially when you're going against Dragapult EX. But they also have Ethan's Ho-Oh EX. You're going to use Golden Flame to accelerate a fire energy to it. And they will attach Luminous Energy to Clefairy. And they're going to pass. Now is our turn. We got Bravery Charm. Let's go ahead and set up our Wobbuffet. Use Buddy Buddy Poffin to get another Tarountula and our Blipbug. And I'm going to use Iono. Okay, we got another Tarountula. And we also have Ultra Ball. Let's go ahead and just discard these two. And we'll set up our Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. Since we already have Hero's Cape, might as well put it into play. That way we'll maximize Mewtwo's HP up to 380 HP. So now it's going to be hard for our opponent to knock it out. And we're pretty much all set for next turn. We can just use Ariana to draw into more cards. Alright, so this is not the Magcargo deck. We're actually going against Ho-Oh EX and Armor Rouge combo. So you can pretty much put a lot of different types of Pokemon in this deck. And basically, their main energy accelerator is their Ho-Oh. And then all they have to do is just transfer those fire energies with Armor Rouge to their active Pokemon. Now Clefairy EX is fully energized, and they're just going to attack with Full Moon Rondo, dealing 200 damage, knocking out our Tarountula, and that's going to get them their first prize. So I'm just going to pivot into our Mewtwo EX. We got Dottler. We can put our Team Rocket's Moltres EX at HP with Bravery Charm. And we already have Grass Energy. I think I'm just going to use Earthen Vessel here. Because for the most part, I like having at least 1 Fire and 1 Grass Energy in the discard pile. And we can actually accelerate this using Spidops. And all you need is Energy Switch. You can easily energize your attacking Pokemon. So we're going to use Ariana. Let's see if we can get Energy Switch here. We got Spidops, alright. But we don't have Energy Switch. I was actually looking to see if I can knock out this Clefairy. We have Team Rocket's energy to attach to our Mewtwo EX. But without Energy Switch, we can't fully energize its attack. So for now, I'm just going to use Charging Up to put an energy to our Spidops. And I'm just going to pass. So we missed that opportunity to get a knockout. But as long as they don't have a boss orders, we should be able to survive an attack here. And there it is, the Armor Rouge finally evolves. And really depends on which Pokemon they put into play. They could just transfer those fire energies into the active. So they also have Regigigas when going against Terra-type matchups, and they can actually deal multiple knockouts with their Wellspring Ogerpon. But they're just going to attack with Clefairy, dealing 200 damage to our Mewtwo. If we attack this turn, though, they could just knock it out. So I might just have to retreat it. Let's go ahead and use our Transceiver. We got Giovanni. What I could do is actually just target their Armor Rouge. Without it, they can't energize their attackers. Yeah, let's go ahead and use this. And then we can attack with Spidops. We have Night Stretcher anyways, and our Tarountula is ready to evolve next turn. So we can just set up another Spidops. We'll use Factory to draw 2. And then we can use Charging Up, fully energize it. And we're just gonna attack with Rocket Rush, dealing 180 damage to their Armarouge, knocking it out, and that's gonna get us our first prize. So we get another factory. At least we can take a knockout with Mewtwo EX if we attack with it. But right now we need to evolve into our Orbeetle, that way we can keep it alive. For now, my opponent's starting to set up another Armarouge lineup. And why do they have Durant EX? Well, it is a grass type, so it does have the potential to one-hit knockout a lot of the top tier meta decks like Grimmsnarl EX or Charizard. For now though, my opponent gets another knockout with Clefairy. So I'm just gonna pivot into Wobbuffet. We got another Moltres. I'm gonna use Buddy Bitty Poffin. We have no more Taruntulas. I'll just use Nice Treasure to get Spidops, evolve this. And then I can put another Mewtwo EX in play. I probably just need to evolve into Orbeetle. Let me go ahead and use Team Rocket's Petrel, get Ultra Ball. Draw 2 more with the factory. Okay, we didn't get much there. So what I'm gonna do is just use Ultra Ball, discard these 2, and I'm gonna get Orbeetle. That way I can just spread the damage around, and that's gonna keep our Mewtwo EX alive. And we do have a switch. I can take a knockout using Mewtwo to attack, knock out this Ho-Oh EX, but we will need to discard 2 energies because we're only hitting 220 if we discard 1. But for now, we're just gonna use Rocket's Brain to spread these damage counters around. That way they will not be able to take a knockout against our Mewtwo EX. We'll charge up an energy. Thankfully, we can attach another one. And then we're just gonna use Erasure Ball, discard 2 energies, and we're dealing 280 damage to knock out their Ho-Oh EX. And that's gonna remove all the energies. Now they can't transfer any of those. So it doesn't matter what Pokemon they put into play, they don't have any energies. So hopefully that disrupts them. And all we have to do is just keep knocking out their Pokemon using our Mewtwo EX. But that's what I like about Orbeetle. It also keeps your Pokemon alive. So it prevents your opponent from taking key knockouts, especially against your 2 prizers. But they found another Ho-Oh EX. They evolved into another Armarouge. And they also have Iron Hands EX. So if they knock out one of our 1 prizers, they could possibly get 2 prizes for it. And they're going to boss our Orbeetle. Oh no, they're going to use Iron Hands. And they have Luminous Energy. And that acts as 1 energy of every type. So that's going to fulfill the lightning energy it needs to attack. And all they have to do is use Armarouge to transfer those fire energies. And they're just going to attack. And they can get 2 prizes. Amp You Very Much deals 120, knocks out our Orbeetle. And they're going to get 2 prizes. Man, this is a very versatile deck that we're going up against. But, I mean, we can take a knockout against this Iron Hands EX. Let's go ahead and charge up our Spidops first. We'll need to discard 2 energies. I have no choice but to energize our Spidops. We got Transceiver. Got another Ariana. So we'll use that to draw. And we have Bravery Charm to... Let's add HP to this Mewtwo EX actually. Draw 2 more with the Factory. Okay, we got Wobbuffet. We could use that next turn. And I'm just going to use Erasure Ball. Discard these 2. Deal 280. And that's going to knock out their Iron Hands EX to get us 2 more prizes. Alright, not too bad. We have 1 more prize to go. Any Pokemon that they put in the active, we can knock out with Mewtwo EX. Let's see how our opponent sets up here. So they're going to pivot into Latias EX. Thanks to his Skyliner ability, any of their basic Pokemon have no retreat cost. Yeah, we pretty much have this game. A lot of our Pokemon have a lot of HP, so I don't know what they're gonna do here. They have Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. They have Boss. Oh no! No! No, they're gonna use Blood Moon. Oh no, it was enough to knock it out. Oh, what happened? That was such a close game. On to our third and final match. Once again, we're gonna start this with Tarantula in the active spot. No surprise there. And we got our second copy on our bench, and I will be going first in this matchup. My opponent's gonna start with Nidoran, so we're going against Team Rocket's Nidoking EX. I hope we can win this one. Let's go ahead and start with Buddy Poffin, set up our Blip Bug, make sure we can evolve into Orbeetle. Otherwise, it's just gonna fill up our bench if we can't evolve. And since we can use our Proton on our first turn, we're just gonna grab 3 other basic Team Rocket's Pokemon. However, Mewtwo EX is weak against Dark type, so we're not gonna put that into play at all because it just becomes a liability. So for the most part against this matchup, we're probably just gonna use Team Rocket's Moltres EX as our main attacker along with Wobbuffet. We do have other cards to increase our HP, and if we do attack with Moltres first attack, we can also reduce damage that we receive. For now, my opponent has Perilous Jungle. That will increase the poison damage. They have Munkidori and a Pidgeot EX lineup. They're gonna retreat into Cleffa. And with the Nest Ball, they're gonna get Pheasantipity EX. And they're just gonna draw more cards with Grasping Draw, ending their turn. Alright, we got Team Rocket's Factory. We can replace their stadium, evolve into Spidops. Thankfully, we have Transceiver. We can get Ariana. We can draw 4 more cards here. And we got Team Rocket's Energy. Let's draw 2 more with the Factory. Alright, let's go ahead and energize our Moltres. We need more basic energies in the discard pile though, but I'm just gonna discard these 2. I'm gonna get Team Rocket's Dottler, slowly evolve into our Orbeetle. And I'm just gonna end my turn. So let's see how well my opponent sets up here. They have Rare Candy. They evolve into their Team Rocket's Nidoking EX. They need 3 energies to start attacking though. They have Team Rocket's Energy, but they have Janine's Secret Art. Alright, that's actually a good card to have in this Nidoking build. So that allows them to search their deck for up to 2 basic Dark Energy and attach them to 2 of their Dark Pokemon. So they fully energized their first attack. They attacked with Tainted Horn, dealing 100 damage plus poison. They knocked out our Tarantula to get their first prize. Not bad. That was actually a pretty good combo. But what I'm gonna do, since we can actually attack with Moltres, I'm just gonna use Giovanni, gust up their Nidoran, and then we can use Earthen Vessel to get the fire energy that we need so that we can attack with Moltres. So I'll just get these 2 energies, power up Moltres with the fire energy, and we're just gonna use Flame Screen to deal 110 damage, enough to knock out their Nidoran to get our first prize. And that will also increase our defense. So we're gonna receive 50 less damage from their attacks. So this Nidoking EX has a second attack, Kingly Impact, which deals 240 damage. So typically, they can just one-hit knock out this Moltres EX. However, with the extra 50 defense, we can actually survive any attack that they deal here against our Moltres EX. So my opponent finally evolves into their Pidgeot EX. They can use Quick Search ability. They have another Team Rocket's energy to fully energize Nidoking's second attack, so they can attack with that if they want to. And they're gonna try and set up another Nidoran, but they have Unfair Stamp. That's gonna put us down to just 2 cards. Oh, but we got Team Rocket's Transceiver. Thankfully, that's gonna help us to just grab another Ariana, draw into more cards, and we'll be well on our way. But yeah, we should be able to survive an attack here. And they're just gonna use Tainted Horn, deal 50 damage and 100 poison or 10 poison damage counters. So we're just gonna get Ariana. We don't have any more Pokemon with Bubbity Poffin. We're just gonna draw. We got Orbeetle. We can replace their Stadium. And we're just gonna draw 2. We got Grass Energy, so that's good. Let's see here. If we try and attack, reducing damage is not gonna make much difference because the poison is there. And even if we use Evil Incineration to have my opponent just discard their active, again, the poison is there. And they could easily just evolve into another Nidoking EX, so I think I'll just have to retreat. Maybe just sacrifice one of my other single prize Pokemon on my bench. Let me go ahead and use Ultra Ball first. We don't need Rare Candy because we already evolved into Orbeetle. And I am tempted to use Mewtwo EX, but you know, it's just gonna be a liability. I'm probably just gonna go with Spite Ups. Evolve this. You can use Charging Up to put an energy. And I think I'm just gonna retreat. Sacrifice my Wobbuffet. Charge up Grass Energy to this. And if my opponent knocks out Wobbuffet, I might as well just remove the damage from Moltres, because if they have boss orders, they could just knock it out. So I'll just spread my damage here. Or actually, yeah, let me just put as much damage as I can to Wobbuffet, especially if my opponent's just gonna knock it out. And I'll just make the HP even between the Spite Ups as much as possible, leaving Wobbuffet with just 10 HP. And again, we learned from last match that it's better to just keep your tanks at full HP, because that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX deals 260 damage. So as you can see here, even with our Bravery Charm, if Moltres has 10 damage to it, they can still knock it out, and they would have just won that match. So as a rule of thumb, if you can just remove all damage from your tank, I think it's better that way. So even if they just boss one, see what I mean? They had boss's orders and they could have just knocked out our Moltres. So they can attack with Tainted Horn, dealing 100 damage plus 80 poison. And that's why you keep your tank at full HP. I'm gonna use Team Rocket's Petrel. And what are our options here? We don't have any more Earthen Vessel. I can use Night Stretcher to get my other Moltres. At least we'll have 2 Pokemon in play that can tank. So I'm just gonna go with that. We have Bravery Charm to add more HP to this guy. And I'm just gonna retreat. I'll put Spite Ups into the active for now. Charge it up. And I'm going to use Rocket Brain to just spread damage here. That way, even if they have boss's orders again, hopefully we can survive another hit. Let me go ahead and put 90 here. 90 damage here. Oh! Alright. Alright, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh, that knocked out our Wobbuffet. That actually gives our opponent a prize. Or actually, no. That activates our counter catcher. Never mind, I meant to do that. That's what I meant. I meant to do that, guys. So, we can use counter catcher and actually get this Munkidori in the active. That way we can knock it out and get another prize. Alright, that was actually a good mistake because I was afraid of dealing damage to their Pokemon, especially with Munkidori in play. They could have just transferred 3 damage counters to one of our Pokemon and just get an easy knockout. So that's fine. They have their own Team Rocket's Giovanni. They are gonna gust up our Moltres in the active, but at 40 damage. See, that's why it's always good to keep it at full HP. Now, when they attack with Kingly Impact, they're dealing 240 damage. They will knock out our Moltres EX. See, I forgot the rule of thumb, guys. We were supposed to put that 40 damage to our other Pokemon. And there it is. Kingly Impact deals 240 damage, knocking out our Moltres EX. And now they're just down to just 2 prizes remaining. This is a pretty close match. I don't know if we can even win this. In total, we can transfer 180 damage with Wobbuffet, but they can just transfer 3 damage counters with their Munkidori. So with this transceiver, I'm just gonna get my last Ariana. And then we can draw more cards. We got Energy Switch. Okay, let's go ahead and energize Moltres. Switch to Fire Energy. And I'm just gonna use Flame Screen. So we can reduce the damage. We should be able to tank a hit. So we're gonna transfer 30 damage to our Moltres. They used Iono. We got another Fire Energy. But a 240 damage. Minus 50. Okay. They just used Tainted Horn. Once again, 50 damage plus 100 damage from poison. But at 180, that's 3. Actually, yeah. We do have Team Rocket's energy. Thankfully, we were able to absorb those damage. We can transfer as much damage as we can to our Moltres, and then we can fully heal it with our Wobbuffet once we use our Rocket Mirror. And of course, we're just gonna transfer as much damage to our Wobbuffet just before knocking it out. That way we can fully heal our Pokemon, because again, my opponent's just gonna knock it out anyways. So we're just gonna transfer all those damage from Moltres to our opponent's Nidoking EX, knocking it out to get our 2 prizes. Not bad. Not bad at all. So now they're left with no damage counters from their Pokemon. They can't even transfer any damage with their Munkidori, so we should be safe. They can't just knock out any of our single prize and get an extra prize for transferring damage. But now their Nidoking EX has 4 energies thanks to 2 Team Rocket's energies attached to it. And we got Giovanni. We have Energy Switch though. They can attack with this Nidoking, but you know what, guys? I think we just delete this guy. They're gonna take a knockout against our Wobbuffet. And we got Hero's Cape. Look at that. Let's transfer the Grass Energy to Moltres. And we're just gonna use Evil Incineration. We discard our Rocket's Energy. And my opponent just discards their Nidoking EX. Not too bad. So they have 4 Rockets energies in the discard pile. I don't know if my opponent has any more dark energies to recover. But if they can't, they will not be able to attack with Nidoking EX. So they might be running out of attackers. I mean, they can try and set up another Nidoking EX. But with no energies available to them, we might just be able to win this, guys. Not a bad strategy. Actually, Team Rocket's Moltres EX is low-key really powerful. If you use it wisely, man, it's a really strong Pokemon. It's starting to be one of my favorite Pokemon in the new set, actually. But let's see what my opponent's able to do here. As long as we don't give them any damage, they can't transfer any damage with their Munkidori. We are limited in our Team Rocket's energies though. You can retreat into their Cleffa and they're just gonna Grasping Draw. Okay, we got Team Rocket's Proton. Let's see what we can do here. I can retreat my Moltres and just attack with Spidops. Let me go ahead and use Giovanni. And then I can switch their Fezandipiti EX. Because if they run out of energies, they might not be able to switch it. All we have to do is just retreat. And then just take a knockout, get our last 2 prizes to win the game. So we could do that. But actually, we run out of Giovanni. If they can retreat this Fezandipiti EX, we're gonna lose the opportunity of knocking out a 2-prizer. I think we jumped the gun there too early. I should have just saved that Giovanni. But my opponent's just gonna pass. Okay, we have Mewtwo EX. We can use Proton. We have 1 Team Rocket's energy left in the deck. And right now, I can't even retreat my Spidops. Oh no. We can evolve into Nidoking EX. If they can attach an energy, if they have Janine's Secret Art again to accelerate the energies. But no, they're just gonna power up their Fezandipiti EX. Or actually, this could be dangerous too. Okay, we got Grass Energy. I can attach it to Spidops. I can try and 2-hit knockout this Fezandipiti EX, I guess. But I'm just gonna retreat to Moltres. Start to charge up my Spidops. I'm just playing it safe, guys. Because if my opponent has the means to fully power up Nidoking EX, they can still knock out our Spidops at 230 HP. Even with that Hero's Cape. That's what I'm afraid of. So at least this Moltres can tank a hit. And what I can try and do is just hopefully draw into that Team Rocket's energy to hit knockout their Fezandipiti EX, but they are powering it. I think they're just gonna try and snipe our bench Pokemon, which is not good. Okay, we got Fire Energy. We got Fire Energy. What's the best choice here? I mean, I can try and 2-hit knock out this Fezandipiti EX. Or I can just use Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX to 1-hit knock out their Fezandipiti EX. Regardless, I could just delete this Fezandipiti as well once we get that Team Rocket's energy. So now their Fezandipiti EX is fully powered up. They're gonna use Cruel Arrow. And they're gonna target our Orbeetle. Okay, this is very dangerous. Alright, we got Team Rocket's energy. What's the best option here, guys? What is the best option? I might just have to delete this Pheasantipity. Am I making it harder for myself, guys? Let me go ahead and just spread the damage around. As long as we can survive 100 damage from this Pheasantipity EX, I think we should be fine. And then I'll put Mewtwo EX in play, attach the fire energy. And then I might as well just put some damage to Mewtwo and to Orbeetle. We should survive with 10 HP if they use Cruel Arrow. So I'm just gonna end my turn. Depends on what my opponent thinks I have. I have one card left in my hand. All we have to do is just retreat our Moltres EX, attack with our Mewtwo EX, and then we could just deal 280 damage to knock out their Pheasantipity EX. I was just playing it safe. I just didn't want my opponent to fully charge their Nidoking and take a knockout. And there it is, guys. We're just gonna retreat our Moltres into our Mewtwo EX. I mean, I could have just probably 2-hit knockout with Moltres EX, but that's fine. So we're just gonna discard these two, knock out their Pheasantipity EX to get our last 2 prizes. Actually, that could have been simpler than it was, but we made it through. Alright, good game. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.